diving a little bit further into all the different things. So what you have here is character dice tray holders with that. And what you got in here is all of the different characters and their skill dice. So as you can see, you kind of pull the dice out here and just kind of looking at some of the components here with that. So I'm going to try to focus on this just a little bit. My camera doesn't have a very good close range view on this, but you can see all the different sides with that. And the really cool thing about this is that these actually aren't stickers. Like you can see, I'm kind of trying to pick at it, and they're not stickers on there. These are actually what was kind of a heat transfer on that. So they're actually on this dice and they're going to not come off. So it's really kind of cool with that. The process that they used for that, like I said, was kind of a heat transfer with that. And when you have that, now you're going to be able to roll these dice and you aren't going to have to worry about the stickers and everything coming off. So that would be one thing that I'd be worried about with a game that has over 200 dice with it. So all that being said, again, quality of the components, that's something that is a mantra of Chip Theory games. It's one of the reasons why I absolutely love them and love to be able to support them with that. So that right there, dice tray with all the character dice, and you can see that there is a second one there as well with that. So those are all of that. They actually added 2 extra chip trays, or excuse me, dice trays in here that are empty. They did that just for the idea of shipping, but now you actually can take the expansion dice trays that you have and you can put those all into here if you wanted, or since the expansions come with the dice trays as well, you actually can use these for other games that have dice in them. So really cool that Chip Theory Games added that in there. They did that because they were worried about the shipping and they didn't want to have everything kind of fly all over the place in the process of shipping. So added that in for free for all of the supporters of the game. So again, just something that I applaud their consistency and their commitment to their game and to their backers and their customers that they have. So again, can't stress enough, I absolutely love Chip Theory Games. So that's kind of the dice there that you have with that. Again, these are kind of the attack and defense dice, so you can use these. These are kind of your standard dice that you're going to have. If you notice, they've got different attack symbols on there, so that's a 1 attack, 2 attack right there. So 1s and 2s, and then they also have these right here. So these are kind of your misses, so what they're called are bones. And when you roll some bones, you have the option to slot this on your character mat. And if you slot it on your character mat, then you can actually use what's called a backup plan. And the different characters have different skills in those backup plans. You can kind of explore those on the different character mats, but it's kind of a way to circumvent that, you know, hey, if I try to attack this creature and all of a sudden I miss a bunch of times, what's going to end up happening? It's not going to necessarily punish you completely. It's not going to reward you as if it was a success, but it's going to help you to kind of, I guess, lessen the blow that you would have if you were to just end up rolling the misses. So that's what you got with there. The cards, so all of the wonderful, amazing cards that they have in here are going to kind of be as such. So I'm going to crack this open right here. I know that there's a lot of people that like to sleeve games out there. I'm kind of indifferent on it. I've sleeved a couple of games because of just the rarity of the game. So like my copy of Gears of War that I have, that's sleeved just because I know that Gears of War is kind of an older game. These right here, the cards are kind of special because, as you can hear, they're plastic. So these are PVC cards. Really cool video. If you look it up on Chip Theory Games YouTube channel, they actually did a video with the entire Too Many Bones game underwater. So not something that I obviously would do, but just kind of a unique thing that, you know, accidents do happen, and if somebody spills water on this, the thing that's going to get hurt is your gaming table. So not necessarily your cards there with that. So they've got kind of a glossy feel here on the front so that you can see and read the flavor text down here at the bottom and see. So these are Zelfie seeds with that. It's a single use item, so it says that right up there. And this lets you heal any gear lock for 2 hit points. So if you're getting low, you can use this. You can heal yourself. You can use another gear lock, so one of the characters in the game. And has a little bit of flavor text there at the bottom, letting you invest yourself into the story. On the back, it's kind of got a little bit more of a grainy material there on the back, so you can kind of see and feel the difference there with that. So kind of there, you can see that it's got a little bit more of a texture, so you can kind of hold it a little bit better. But this side here isn't textured, so it makes for really easy ability to read it. So really excited to dive into this and not have to worry about dealing with the needing to sleeve there. So some of the cards that are in there are called Trove Loot cards, and this kind of has a little mini game that you can do at the end of each of your encounter days that you have, where you're trying to unlock this chest. So this is kind of the important loot in the game that could really make or break a battle for you. And when you have this, you're going to have different things that you're going to have to meet. So this is a 2 lever, a 3 trip, and a 3 force. So you have to roll this with the mini game in order to unlock it. And as you unlock it, you'll kind of move this along, and then when you unlock it, you flip it over, and this right here, this is a Dex Infuser. So what this does is it's got a backup plan extension, so you've got 1 bone. What you can do is you can immediately roll 1 additional available die. So it doesn't cost any dexterity. So dexterity is your skill that allows you to roll more dice. This allows you to immediately roll an extra die. So that, if you're really close to taking down a baddie, but you're also really close to dying, and you know they're going to get you the next time, or if the fatigue is going to set in and kill you the next round, then you could use this, roll an extra dice, and possibly be able to wipe that baddie out right away. So that's kind of what you got going on with those there. So I'm just going to kind of set that in there. This right here is some of the Tyrants. So the Tyrant cards here, if I can find the opening on this right here. So this, let me go ahead and slide these out and get rid of that. So you can see the different Tyrants. So this is Morrow, and you've got the Tyrant encounter. So there's some various encounters and special encounters. Duster, so the Tyrant for Duster is there, and you can see kind of there. This right here is the day counter that comes with every game, so you don't necessarily have to have the adventure mat, but on this right here, would you rather use something like this that's going to keep track of your days, or would you rather use something like this that's going to keep track of your days? So this, not too expensive of an add-on, and right here definitely makes it more thematic, definitely beautiful artwork that's on there, and you can kind of see what's moving on through there with that. So that's kind of what you've got there, and you can see as you keep going through there's going to be more stuff on there. So there's definitely some loot cards and stuff intertwined into here. Piplock 2000, so it kind of looks like a little Pip-Boy action there with that from the famous Fallout series. So a bunch of different stuff. Drellin, so another Tyrant encounter card there that you have with that. So a bunch of fun stuff. Molemesh, been seeing a lot of people play against Molemesh as the Tyrant there with that. And kind of on your Tyrant card, what you're going to see is you've got these different things here. So what this means is that you have 9 days. So you can kind of see it right here. I know my camera's not going to really let me zoom in or focus on that as well as I want to, but here you can see there's a 9 there. So that means you have 9 days. So your journey is going to be 9 days long, or up to 9 days long. In order to be able to encounter Molemesh, you have to accumulate 6 progress on that. So as you do your special encounters and your regular encounters with that, when you're successful, you'll gain an encounter point on that. So you kind of tick the encounter along as you go through there with that. And once you've hit 6, instead of drawing an encounter card, you can say, okay, I'm going to take on Molemesh now and do that. So you have to do that though in 9 days, otherwise the game's over on that. So that's kind of what you see going on with something like that on there. So enough of that. That kind of just gives you a little brief overview there on what the Tyrants are going to look like with that. And then here's just kind of another small little pack of cards that are going to have some encounters and things like that in that. So you've got that. So I'm going to go ahead and take this tray out that has all the dice, and then we kind of get into the bottom. So they put this nice little handy dandy protector in there. It's got a nice little hole in there, so you can actually use that to pull the tray out. And this right here, again, like I said, it's very high quality components. This is not just like a thin sheet of plastic that they put in there. Like, this is almost like a plexiglass type of thing that you have there, separating that stuff out. So On the bottom here is the updated rulebook. This is version 1.0.1, so it's the latest copy that they have with that. Like I had said, they had to switch these out because they found that the binding wasn't as good on the first iteration, and they used that as an opportunity to be able to make some last minute revisions and make some extra changes and stuff like that to the rulebook to make it a little bit better. So again, I applaud them for doing that rather than just saying, hey, you know, there's some changes, you might want to print it off yourself. So here is the rule book, and it is very well done. One of the things that I really like in here is that, and I'm just trying to find an example of this, that if you notice right here, they've got lock picking, and then they've got a little video icon next to it, which means that there's going to be a video that is explaining this part of the rule book. So if you get confused on something with that, you can actually just go and you can watch the video. Not all of the videos are up just yet. I may be wrong at this point. They may have actually finished doing them, but they were focused on making sure that all of the games got fulfilled first before finishing doing all of the videos. So you've got Dangerous Darts there, so there's a game that you can end up playing with that. And then again, you can see videos on like the recovery phase. You've got baddies in your battle queue, so what happens with that, baddie turn sequence, so you can see kind of what goes on with that. Again, high quality components that you have with that, so a great rule book there with everything, picture of the battle mat, and then again, like I said, the Carlson brothers, so just kind of some info about that, about them. So great rule book there. Definitely something that if you're interested, preview it on BGG, Board Game Geek. They have that up on there so that you can see that. These right here are all the different character mats that you have. So the characters that the game comes with are patches. And one thing that's really cool about this is that they actually talk about the difficulty of each of the characters. So if you play it solo, so if you just play it with one person, this is kind of a 2-point difficulty. If you play patches co-op, it's only 1. So patches is probably a pretty easy one there to play in co-op, not too difficult as solo. When you get to Tantrum, when you play as co-op, really difficult. So it's got 4 points on that. Solo, it's got 3 points. So Tantrum, probably one of the harder characters in the game to play as. And part of that just is that Tantrum doesn't have defense. Tantrum is all attack, and is really just, if you've ever played an RPG, Tantrum would kind of be the tank of the group with that. So that's what you kind of have going there. Co-op, the reason why the co-op difficulty is up there on that is because if you're playing as the tank, you're going to be getting hit a lot, but the way that the baddie points are determined is that for every character that you have, you take the number of, basically the number of gear locks. So if you're playing with 3 people, 3 gear locks, every day that you move on, that is the amount that you multiply by your gear locks to get your baddie points. So if you're playing solo and you're on day 4, you have 1 character times 4 days. That means 4 baddie points are going to get put into the field, which means you'd have 4 1-point baddies. Now, if you had 3 gear locks and it was day 4, 3 gear locks times 4, you're looking at 12 baddie points. So you're going to have 2 5-point baddies and then 2 1-point baddies. So the same number of baddies, but 2 of them are going to be really tough on that. So that just kind of shows that that's going to go up in difficulty. Boomer, a little bit easier to play co-op, harder on solo just because Boomer has a lot with grenades and things like that. Bombs that you have to be able to build. You have to have the components to build Boomer's grenades, so solo might be a little bit tough to build that up. And then Pickett is just kind of an all-around character, so kind of a mix between Tantrum and somebody like a Tantrum or somebody like Patches or something like that is what I would imagine Pickett to kind of be like. So both 3 points on the difficulty there. And this is just kind of a general reference guide that they have with that. Very similar to the cards as well. So kind of this first page here is got kind of the, you can kind of hear it that it is just kind of the smooth surface there on this PVC. And then on the back side, you can see it's got a little bit rougher of a grain. So that way, like if it's on something, it's going to be less likely to slide around than if you were to have it on the other side with that. So, and all the character sheets are going to be like that. So they've got the smooth side here, and then on the back side, when it talks about the different backup plans, so what you can do with all the bones, it's got that there, kind of suggested starter builds with that, and kind of what goes along with that. So you can kind of see all of that stuff there as well. Each of these are your character mats with that. So these are where you're going to slot your dice into. These are a lot bigger than I anticipated them to be, so this is really kind of cool. Actually, again, like I said, just to kind of show you a reference, my hand's about 9 inches from middle finger down to the base of my palm there. So you can kind of see it's a big character mat with that. But this is really where all of your stuff is going to go. These are your starting skills. So Pickett has 5 health to start off with, 2 dexterity. So dexterity is the number of dice you can roll. So on this, until you upgrade dexterity, you can only roll 2 dice as Pickett, which that's probably one of the most important skills in the game there to upgrade. You want to be able to not only upgrade these skills over here so you actually have different skills that you can use to fight, but if you only have 2 dexterity, you're only going to be able to roll 2 dice. So this is definitely one that you need to upgrade. Health starts with 5, attack is 1, defense is 2 on that. So I'm just going to kind of open this up so you can kind of see what this is going to look like. I'm not going to do that for the rest of them, but I'm just going to kind of open this one up so you can kind of see what the character mats are going to look like here when you actually get them out and start to utilize them. So put that there. I'll go ahead and toss this down. I'm going to set the box here down for just a second, so that way I can put that character mat there and kind of zoom in and focus on the character mat here. So move that there. Alright, so here we've got Pickett, and like I had said, you got your character mat that's going to go along with it. So you can see here's Pickett's character mat, and when you look at the character mat there, you can actually see what colored dice you're going to end up using. So like Patches here is going to use red, Pickett's going to use blue, Tantrum here is going to use gray, and Boomer here is going to use kind of that yellowish with that. So that's kind of what you got going on there with that. So Patches is going to use blue, and so you've got the dice tray here with all of the dice in it. And what I'm going to do is just kind of toss some of these dice out. So you've got each of the skill dice here. So what you have with these skill dice is you can kind of slot these skill dice into here. And so say I wanted to upgrade my dexterity. So now I've got that right there. It's upgraded to 3 dexterity. And then if I upgrade it again, it goes to 2, then it goes to 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So probably not something that I'd want to do because I'd be able to roll 8 dice, but I'm not going to be able to do a whole lot else with it because I can only roll 1 attack and 2 defense at that point. So those are where your skill dice are going to get slotted in with that. And again, nice thing with that is that you can see they usually will stay in there with that as long as you don't turn it upside down. But like I can kind of pick it up, and it's not cooperating with me right now, but like I can pick it up and slide it, and they're not going to kind of move around in there. You can see they kind of stay in there with that. So, and then I have all my different skill dice down in here. So like this one right here is skill number 4, so it's Orcish Ale. So I can kind of slot that into there. So if I unlock that skill, I've got that. And then I've got some of the other ones. So I've got like 2, so that's shield form. If I unlock 5, so sword advance. So you can see that you can slot all the different skills in here, and then when you get ready to use them based upon what they refer to on your reference sheet. So you can kind of see here on the reference sheet they're going to talk about those for your dice icon on that. So they'll talk about it there, and then what you can do is when you get ready to use them, if you kind of put them in your staging area and then you get ready to roll, you grab them and you roll, and then you'll be able to see what they're going to do again based on this. So that's kind of what you've got going on with the character mats and everything that is going to entail with that. So just kind of packing that stuff up right there. And then again, just kind of the last thing here that you're going to have is you've got all the different baddies. So on this you can see this is kind of my roll of baddie chips that I have here. And when you have all these are the different baddies that you'll see. So like this one here at the end is a Kobold tracker, and you can see all the different information that's going to be right there on the chip with that. So that right there, guys, is really what Too Many Bones is all about, and that's just kind of the unboxing of what we've got going on with that. So highly recommend it. Watch some playthrough videos of it and get an opportunity to get in on that before it gets sold out again. So they're on second print run. Definitely take a look at it and think about getting it. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.